Good evening, viewers. You're watching To The Point. I am Preeti Chaudhary. What we're going to do through the course of the next 25 minutes is break down what we heard in Parliament on day 2 of the no confidence motion. So who won round 2 of the no trust motion in Parliament today? Was it the Treasury benches or was it the opposition? The much anticipated speech by Rahul Gandhi also today, he did speak, but so did Amit Shah for over 2 hours. Which speech was substantive? Which speech was political in nature? Who won round 2? Listen in to all the excerpts and we're back with our experts.
हमारी जनता की आवाज है, दिल की आवाज है। उस आवाज की हत्या आपने मणिपुर में की। इसका मतलब भारत माता की हत्या आपने मणिपुर में की। मारा आपने मणिपुर के लोगों को मारकर भारत की हत्या की है। आप देशद्रोही हो, आप देशभक्त नहीं हो, आप देश प्रेमी नहीं हो, आप देशद्रोही हो। आपने देश की हत्या मणिपुर में की।
कांग्रेस पार्टी के एक नेता ने कश्मीर में रेफरेंडम की बात की। अगर हिम्मत है गांधी खानदान में तो इस सदन में और इस देश को बताए कि कश्मीर को देश से हटाने की साजिश में कांग्रेस के उस नेता का वक्तव्य क्यों है? यू आर नॉट इंडिया बिकॉज यू डिफाइन करप्शन इन इंडिया। You are not India because you define incompetence. You are not India.
इस सदन में एक ऐसे नेता है जिनको आज तक 13 बार राजनीति में लॉन्च किया गया है और 13 ही बार फेल गए। उनका एक लॉन्चिंग मैंने देखा है। उनका एक लॉन्चिंग यहां सदन में हुआ था। एक गरीब मां कलावती या ऐसा कुछ नाम था, कलावती, बुंदेलखंड की बहन कलावती, उसके घर वो नेता भोजन करने गए और यहीं पीछे बैठकर गरीबी का बड़ा दारुण वर्णन, द्रवित हो जाए ऐसा वर्णन करती। बाद में इनकी सरकार 6 साल चली। मैं पूछना चाहता हूं वो कलावती का क्या करा? वो कलावती को घर, बिजली, गैस, शौचालय, अनाज, स्वास्थ्य, ये सब देने का काम नरेंद्र मोदी ने। मैं विपक्ष की इस बात से सहमत हूं कि वहां पर हिंसा का तांडव हुआ है और इस हिंसा के तांडव से कोई सहमत नहीं हो सकता माननीय। हम भी सहमत नहीं हैं। उनसे ज्यादा दुख हमें है माननीय, परंतु ये परिस्थिति जन्य है। मैं बताना चाहता हूं इसी घटनाओं का कोई समर्थन नहीं कर सकता। समाज के नाते हमें शर्म आई इस प्रकार की घटनाएं वहां हुई है, इससे कोई इनकार नहीं। परंतु ये जो घटना हुई है वो शर्मनाक है। उस घटना पर राजनीति करना इससे भी ज्यादा शर्मनाक है।
All right, so who won round 2 of the no confidence motion debates that we saw in Parliament? Let's cut across to our editors. Joining me, Moshmi, my colleague who's been tracking Parliament developments through the course of the morning, Rahul Srivastav, National Affairs Editor, political analyst Rashid Kidwai, and political analyst Sandeep Shastri. Moshmi, I'll quickly come to you. A lot was anticipated from Rahul Gandhi's debate. It was short and, clearly in 2 parts. With the first part, classic Rahul Gandhi, where he spoke about his own Bharat Jodo Yatra. The third one, more focused on a political punch in terms of a little more punchier, but low on substance, many would suggest.
Preeti, I expected that Rahul Gandhi would dole out more facts and give a historical perspective and, talk about his experience when he went to Manipur. He was there for 2 days. He visited Churachandpur and Imphal, and he could have elaborated his personal experience at length rather than, spend 25 minutes in the beginning of his speech on Bharat Jodo Yatra. And somewhere I felt that as far as, hitting the government hard on Manipur, it could have worked well if he would have padded it with facts and what the observation of the Supreme Court is to fight his case or put it across to the government. But instead, the entire the end of the entire speech, at the end of the entire speech, his certain action actually made more headlines than his speech on Manipur. And even while he was speaking on Manipur, at the end of it, the accusations that he was hurling at the government, he considering that he is in the front role as far as the India alliance is concerned, he is in the lead role. We expected that he could have padded it up better with a more 360-degree perspective, connecting, emotionally, politically, and with perspective, theoretically, to Manipur to bring his point home. But that said and done, I think that as far as Amit Shah is concerned, he did acknowledge that there has been violence and incidents. I told you earlier in the day that Manipur was like defending, it was almost like defending the indefensible, what happened in Manipur, and it will be a very hard task for Amit Shah. But he did do his homework well there, no doubt about that, except for the fact that, the acknowledgement was not there. If he was saying that we cannot, in any terms, say that the violence that happened was justified, then there should be accountability, and that accountability and the onus and the ownership was clearly missing in what Amit Shah said.
Right. Well, especially when it came down to pinning the blame and also somewhere down the line safeguarding the Chief Minister of Manipur, Biren Singh. Moshmi, appreciate you joining us. Let's cut across to our other reporters. Rahul Srivastav, Rashid Kidwai, Sandeep Shastri. What did all three of you make? Rahul, you want to go first? You were here and we were discussing. Rahul Gandhi's speech, especially in the end, was politically punchy. But if I, dare say, what we were also discussing, low on substance, possibly sexy, but low on substance.
CPT, if you look at Rahul Gandhi's speech, Rahul Gandhi has provided templates to his cadres, templates to his party, templates for the coalition alliance India. When he says, look, the Manipur mein Bharat Mata ki hatya, tum desh ke rakhwale nahi ho, tum desh bhakt nahi ho. These are things which I think will echo across the country as far as the run-up to the election is concerned. This is something very similar to what he did last time around. He was part of a no-trust motion against his government in 2018 when the Chaukidar Chor Hai and all these templates had emerged. Now, as far as the political speech is concerned, I think the more befitting place would have been a political rally in Rajasthan or wherever he was, because such speeches are made largely to charge at political people. Why I say that? This no confidence motion has been reduced to, I think, virtual banal. Why? Because the idea was to make the Prime Minister speak on Manipur, on something that he was not doing. Now, when you want somebody to speak on something, the opposition has to build a case, a point-by-point presentation of facts, pictures, and other elements has to be done. Questions have to be posed. This was a speech which is politically very good, could be very good, but it is basically that it was meant to throw mud. Now, if somebody wants to level charges against a political person, you can do it inside Parliament or you can do it outside Parliament. The fact remains that was that the agenda of the no confidence motion. If the idea was to say all these things to the Prime Minister or level such charges against the Prime Minister, then it could have been done outside. Inside Parliament, one expected what Gaurav Gogoi did. He might lack the political pelf that Rahul Gandhi has, or perhaps the punchiness in terms of speech, but Gaurav Gogoi had a point-by-point presentation in which Gaurav Gogoi said that XYZ thing is wrong in Manipur. And that is why, if you see, the speech by Mr. Amit Shah, point by point, was talking about what Gaurav Gogoi said. So what eventually, if you see, Mr. Amit Shah has left everything that Rahul Gandhi said, and that will get replied tomorrow politically by the Prime Minister.
Well, I just want to bring in Rashid Kidwai. Rashid Kidwai, what seemed was, that he wanted to deliver a good political punch, but he's left the heavy lifting to his other, colleagues like Gaurav Gogoi. And if you look at it, at least where the monsoon session is concerned, it seemed to belong to Amit Shah, be it the Delhi Services Bill or even today replying not just to Rahul Gandhi, but replying on the no confidence motion.
Preeti, I think Rahul Gandhi was spot on. His speech was sharp and it hurt, BJP where it hurts most. He talked about, Bharat Mata ki hatya in Manipur, Hindustan ki hatya in Manipur, lot of things. Mr. Amit Shah, of course, gave a very good, explanation of things. But thing is, as Shahab Jafri, a poet, had said, कि तू ये बता कि तेरा कारवां लुटा क्यों, मुझे गिला नहीं, मुझे गिला है तेरी रहबरी से. So this is the thing. People want to know, what went wrong and why the BJP government, Mr. Amit Shah, Mr. Narendra Modi were not able to put a lid on it. Even now, till date, to say that, what were the reasons and Mr. Modi, was woken up at 4 a.m., etc. is a commentary. It's their efforts. But the efforts that would not, they did not convert into, substantive results. And that is where I think Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been a best speaker today, and he was very sharp and focused, and this will take a lot of time. And if I may say, this
right.
flimsy, the charge of this, the flying kiss controversy also, it was brought to, divert that attention, to dilute the impact Mr. Rahul Gandhi was able to make today. I mean, when the House should be discussing
well,
sexual
we're
violence...
not talking about the flying... Right.
When the House should be discussing sexual violence in Manipur...
we're not talking about that. We're just, yes. Fair enough. Fair enough, Rashid Kidwai. I'm going to come right back. I just want to bring in Sandeep Shastri into the conversation. Sandeep Shastri, one would suggest, yes, Rahul Gandhi could have sharpened his speech or his debate with pointers, possibly that were referred to by the likes of Gaurav Gogoi yesterday, and could have possibly dealt a more, been more potent in terms of a political blow where the treasury benches were concerned. But when it came down to something which will stick, if you're talking about Manipur, to say it is harsh, but it really did hit home, where he seemed angry, where he said that you've killed India in Manipur, or the fact where he's used got a bit into theology, used the line where he said कि रावण की लंका हनुमान नहीं रावण के अहंकार ने जलाई थी.
Preeti, I don't know if it is fair to compare Gaurav Gogoi's speech and Rahul Gandhi's speech, because both of them represent different personalities, and each of them has spoken keeping in mind what their capacities and strengths in terms of dialogue are. Yes, Rahul Gandhi's presentation could have been a little more fact-oriented. There was possibly too much of rhetoric and too little of reality in that speech. There was an element of frivolousness, if you may, which could have been replaced by facts. But overall, when you were talking about today, I personally felt you had more of shrillness of debate rather than sense in the debate. People were more interested in adopting the approach of offense being the best point or best part of defense. I think the blame game versus rational argument was something that I was looking for. Both the sides were talking about your states and my states, violence in your states, violence in my state. But who was talking about Bharat or India as one? We were more seemed to be interested in scoring brownie points against each other, constantly speaking when somebody from the other side was speaking, which I think shows that the debate has gone to a level which is more of tutu meme, which is more of I find the wrong point in what you say, I find the wrong point in the action that you do, and vice versa. And in the process, the seriousness of the debate that should be there, I think, is lost sight of. And that, for me, was something which I thought was missing.
Right.
Sense was not as much as it should be.
If
was much more than what I would have liked it to be.
Right. If I may permit just about a minute each of all my experts and editors, to possibly, Rahul, starting from you, if you have to rate Rahul Gandhi's speech on a 1 on 10, and if you have to come up with who was possibly the star performer on day 2 of the no confidence motion, what would you give Rahul Gandhi and who would you name?
Again, it would depend on what you want me to rate Rahul Gandhi on. If it was on style, maybe 6, 6.5 out of 10. If it was on substance, it would come closer to 5 out of 10.
All right. Okay. Rahul, would you want to go with that? Rahul Srivastava?
Yes. Yes. See, I'll tell you, Preeti, if it comes to a political charge, Rahul Gandhi did very well. Because, connecting it to the strengths, to target the strengths of Narendra Modi, who has portrayed his government as a savior of the nationalistic agenda and stridence, he has tried to hit that. If one thing that has worked in favor of Mr. Narendra Modi and the BJP is that nationalistic right-wing agenda that we have saved the nation, be it Kashmir, be it Pakistan, China, and that nationalism. So Rahul Gandhi has used Manipur to target Prime Minister Narendra Modi's core agenda. Now that strength has been attacked. But if you talk about a parliamentary speech, the nation was looking for a parliamentary debate, Preeti. The problem is it was not a parliamentary speech. The nation's parliament, the question was what when the no confidence motion was moved? The question was that this Prime Minister does not speak in the House, the Parliament. And that is why a no confidence motion has been moved to make him speak on Manipur. That was the underline. Now, if you are making a political speech, that's what is the parliament being used for, not for parliamentary purposes. Even the Congress needs to respect the fact that it was a parliamentary speech. Second, lot of things will be said about Mr. Amit Shah's speech.
Right.
I think he gave an account of what is visible on the ground, but he did not show a sense of blame. Who should be blamed for what has happened? Governments need to shoulder blame. That sense of blame, he is virtually given a clean sheet to the chief minister of the state. Now, in reply to Rahul Gandhi's politics speech, just 1 second.
Right.
Politics, what has happened? You have got a political speech-like, rally-like event in which Mr. Amit Shah says that line ki desh ko vishwas hai, aapko vishwas nahi hoga, and the members of parliament speak in chorus behind him. Then he lists out the ghotala, and what do the MPs do? They speak out in chorus ki UPA ke time mein hue. This is a political counter. Again, I think anybody may have scored any number of political points. Parliament again has been undermined. I think Manipur should feel disappointed.
Well, all right. Okay, so Rahul's not giving in any numbers yet, but Rashid Kidwai, if you had to rate Rahul Gandhi's speech, how much would you rate it? And for you, who was the star today?
Yeah, Preeti, I will certainly give 8 out of 10 to Rahul Gandhi for mixing aggression with emotions. He was very, spot on when he highlighted the plight of 2 women in a very, this thing about it stirred a lot of people's conscience to hear how the women in Manipur, had to suffer. I think Rahul Gandhi was at his best today in Parliament so far, and to say that whatever the government cannot be go on blaming UPA or what the previous government's done. This has been it's the 9th or 10th year of this NDA Narendra Modi government. So whatever corrective measures had to do, double engine ki sarkar. You see what is happening in Manipur. Even now there was no explanation why the chief minister was not removed, why 356 were not imposed. All these questions remain unanswered. Perhaps the prime minister will answer tomorrow. But I think so far Rahul Gandhi was at he showed a lot of courage of conviction.
All right, I thank all 3 gentlemen there. Well, what I did also think was that there were 2 parts to Rahul Gandhi's speech. The first bit, it was a short speech. The first bit, classic Rahul Gandhi, where he spoke about his own experience during the Bharat Jodo Yatra. The second bit, punchier, political, potent. One might call it, stylish, may I dare say sexy, but possibly low in substance, which Amit Shah's speech had. But what Amit Shah's speech didn't quite have was accountability.